Hello, everyone. Welcome to this crash course on effective communication with DiSC. Before we begin, take a few seconds to think of someone that working with them is so difficult that you really prefer to go to the dentist than work with them. Remember this person, we will come back to this later. What's in it for you? First, you will know why some people drive you crazy. And second, you will know how to communicate more effectively. Take the following situation, for example. You receive an email from your new manager. It only has a subject, not a body. Send me your previous performance review by 2 o'clock! Exclamation mark. What do you think of this person? Many would say, oh, this person is really angry. Some will not. We will later see why. The funny thing about communication is that it's the activity we do most every day, yet it has some big limitations, as wise people already realized. George Bernard Shaw said that the single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it has taken place. And Peter Drucker, the management guru, said that communication is what the listener does. And the emphasis here is on the listener. An interesting observation. We remain who we are even though we change our behavior. Imagine yourself in a football game, at the bar, with friends, with your grandparents, in church, synagogue, mosque, or temple, with your spouse, or with your boss. You probably behave differently even though you're still you. What is DiSC? It's a default tendency of behavior. It's not about the personality, it's not about the psychology or why we behave the way we do. It's a simple and powerful tool to improve relationships, respect others, and maybe get liked on the way. How it works in practice. We can think of all the humans in 4 quadrants, where the upper part are the assertive people, and at the bottom, the reserved people, or better say behaviors. On the left-hand side, the task-oriented behaviors, and on the right-hand side, the people-oriented behaviors. This way we get 4 quadrants, and for example, D for dominance is behavior that is task-oriented and assertive, I influence, assertive and people-oriented, S for steadiness, reserved and people-oriented, C conscientiousness, task-oriented and reserved. When you take this test, online for example, you receive the results in different ways. In all of them, what's important is to find out what's your dominant profile. For example, high D. And there may be more than one dominant profile. There could be someone who is both D and I, for example. Remember, it's about the tendency for behavior and not about a personality. Let's look at each of these. Let's call it personality just for short. D, dominance. They're direct, result-oriented, firm, strong-willed, and forceful. The I's, they're lively, outgoing, enthusiastic, optimistic, and high-spirited. S, even-tempered, accommodating, patient, humble, and tactful. C, analytical, reserved, precise, private, and systematic. There could be more than one dominant profile. Remember, it's about the tendency of behaviors when not thinking about them. Someone can be high D in most situations, in the rest mostly C, and maybe a bit of I in the rest. Nonetheless, it's very unlikely to have opposites. For example, high D and high S, or high C and high I in the same person, they usually don't get along. It's important to note that none is better than the other. There are different ways to get results. They are more or less evenly distributed in the population, but in upper management, D and Is are more common because you need to display more decision making, fast decisions, and perhaps public speaking. Um, Maybe also due to some bias that management is full of drama, as we can sometimes see in television and movies. There might be also a need to display different behaviors in different roles or industries. A classic example is a C programmer that is displaying more D behaviors when they become a manager. A homogeneous team would likely fail. A team composed only of Ds will fight each other. Is will have a party. S will support each other. C will be indecisive. None of these teams will make any progress. Characteristics. The dominant make quick decisions even with few details and they can easily revert. They have no prisoner's mentality. For them, conflict is normal and they are assertive and have agency to change the environment around them. Examples are CEOs, CTOs, presidents, and lawyers. Eyes are entertaining, they have stories and jokes, they are surrounded with friends, they always like to jump to the new shiny thing, they are charming, also assertive and have agency to change. Examples are VP sales, artist, and musician. S like it that everybody's happy, they are team oriented, they want to know who is affected and how, they avoid conflict, are submissive with no agency to change everything around them. Examples are nurse and customer service. C, they're about details and precision, forever gathering data, working alone, also submissive with no agency to change things around them. Examples are engineer, accountant, and analyst. It's important to identify each of these people because this will help us later on behave in a way that is effective to them. Let's start with D. Their emails are short, they are less smiling, they are loud, they interrupt people when they speak, they use big gestures and keep eye contact. The cliche in the extreme cases from other profiles is that such person is a dictator. I, they prefer to come over and discuss personally or than over an email. They really love multitasking. They are the people who start a new project and already jump to the next one without finishing. They love to know what other people say. They really like it when there is fun involved and they are exaggerating. For example, everything is glorious. They are notorious for missing deadlines. And the cliche in extreme cases from other profiles is that they are seeking attention. S. They use personal communication, for example, asking about your weekend and really meaning it. They use plenty of emojis in written communication, smiling a lot, and supportive. The cliche in extreme cases from other profiles is that they are a doormat. C. They really often work alone. Their emails tend to be very long with several paragraphs and different attachments with Excel sheets and PDFs and a lot of data. It takes them a long time to decide or to act. They tend to be quiet and they really love rules. The cliche in extreme cases from the other profiles is that such a person is a robot. Thinking of some very famous people, maybe you can already guess Albert Einstein, Darth Vader, Mother Teresa, Elon Musk, Steve Jobs. Well, did you get it right? Now, can you assess yourself, your direct manager, maybe the CEO or CTO, your spouse, friends, and that person from the beginning that you were thinking of that knows you? Perhaps you and this person are complete opposites. For example, high D and high S, or high I and high C. After identifying comes the part where we want to communicate effectively with these people. And effectively means that we are understood and we are more likely to get what we want. Speaking to Heidi, we will send a short email, maybe only the subject. It will be to the point and direct. Bluff, bottom line upfront. We will push to act or show progress, and we will not use small talk. It doesn't work. With eyes, come over if you can, or have a video call, and prefer this to using emails. Mention related people to the topic you're talking about. Be energetic. Use stories and play on the scarcity mechanisms, which may cause FOMO for them. Facts do not play such a major role in communication with them, and don't make them feel rejected. With S, show personal care, ask about the weekend and minute, and listen patiently. Explain the effect of the topic you're talking about on other people. Give them time to prepare. Don't require an immediate response. Use the reciprocity. Give them something and they will be more than happy to give back. You can also use social proof, for example, mentioning all the others who are using this thing that you want to use. Try to mitigate conflict if this is the topic, and try to reduce the risk as much as possible. For C, give all the background, all the details, then the analysis and the results you come to. Don't try to charm or to show them that they are wrong. Another option is to simply ask people how they would love to be communicated with. So we covered talking to individuals. What do we do in a group setting? If you have no idea about the group you're talking with, then use your own style. For example, in an email or presentation, it will be the easiest for you, and so you will probably be the most effective. You can use bluff, so bottom line upfront, the action items, the deadlines, etc. Really in the beginning of your communication. Afterwards, add the supporting documentation and finish with a friendly signature. If you already know the group, for example, everyone is high C or high I, you can use their style. Later on, follow up with specific people using their own style. Let's look at conflict resolution. If your communication is about conflict, you can use a bit of specificity when you know which profiles you're dealing with. With a high D, you can use a firm voice, not raised, and state, I disagree. What can we do? Emphasis on the action. With I, try to resolve quickly. Don't use data and logic. Use things like, let's talk about it. I trust you, what do you want to do? We can work it out. High S. Try to get to a win-win situation, not a lose-win or win-lose. Talk about the right thing to do. Can we talk about it? It would mean a lot to me if we resolve this. What's the right thing to do? With high C, first, agree on the details of the problem. Then find the best approach together. Perhaps we can agree on the facts and issues. We need to do what makes most sense. Beyond DiSC profile, there are more things we can do when it comes to communication. For example, high versus low context. In high context culture, the assumption is that you understand everything with very little cues. So very little said and everybody can complete the background on their own. On low context cultures, it's the opposite. Every small detail is given, assuming you have no previous information. Identifying the right culture, yours and theirs, will help preventing misunderstandings. There is also some wording choices that will help you be more effective. The word but cancels everything said before. You can replace it in many cases with the word and. For example, nice idea, but what about? You can say, nice idea, and what about? Which sounds a bit different, with the same meaning. Sorry if you are offended. Replace with sorry I offended you. This is a real responsibility for apologizing. Mistakes were made. Better say I made the mistake, which shows accountability. Sorry for taking so long. Replace with thank you for patience if you are over apologizing. I didn't have time. Use I had a different priority. Everybody knows time is always there. First, try to understand, then be understood. People don't come with the intention to ruin your day. They are also rational, they just have different rationale than yours. Be curious. Ask not in an accusatory way. I'm not sure I understand. Did you mean X? Can you please explain the reason for? Apologize when needed. And notice out of normal behavior. For example, someone who is always on time started coming late. You can ask about it and show interest. Some disclaimers. Slack and other chat and smartphone communication makes it a bit difficult to identify communication patterns because everybody is more brief now, not only the high Ds. The given examples here were a bit on the high end of things. Life can be more subtle and confusing, and this is why it may take longer for you to identify someone's profile without asking them directly. Taking a test is a popular team event activity, but ask permission to share each other's results. I heard of one case where the only high I in a team of Cs got fired. Company culture may obscure communication. For example, AWS writing culture or your group's unique ways of communication may make things different. Cultures may be obscure. For example, in some conflict is natural. Eye contact may be considered disrespectful and directness is to be avoided. So bear this in mind. Either way, your DiSC profile is not an excuse for bad behavior. Resources. Of course, you can Google or ask your favorite chat about DiSC profile. You can take some free tests online. Empty Disk by Manager Tools is a paid one and it comes with actionable behavior recommendations. The best resource is Manager Tools. They have many podcasts about the topic of DiSC in many situations. It's amazing. Lastly, the Culture Map book by Erin Meyer, where she describes cultures. I encourage you to make an experiment in the upcoming days. Pick someone you're working with, identify their DiSC profile, and change your behaviors and see if you're really more effective. Good luck!